So if you're watching this video, you probably have some sort of entrepreneurial spirit and you might want to become, or you already are, a business owner. But did you know that you can use your business to create generational wealth? You can start using your business to pass benefits, financial benefits, down to your children to set them up for a better life in their own future. Your little business, or maybe you have even scaled to a big business, whether it be a full-time gig and that's all you do, or maybe it's just a little side hustle and it's something extra that you do on top of other things that you do, can be used to give you additional tax benefits in addition to creating generational wealth by passing on some of that earned income to your children. You know, you can pay each of your kids up to $12,950 a year, tax-free, for both of you. And that can really add up their savings and your tax savings. It can put you in a completely different tax bracket. So if you have kids and you have, or you want to have a business, this is definitely something that you should look into. There are some things that you need to know before you do this. So make sure you watch this whole video before you decide to jump in. I'm Jillian from IndependentTeacherAcademy.com, and on this channel, we talk about different business strategies for those of you who want to become online teachers. Some of these strategies include companies that you can work for, but there are also strategies that you can use in your own independent online teaching business. And I encourage you to look at this, look at doing your own independent online teaching business, and see if that's something that you're maybe a little bit interested in, because it can have a ton of benefits. Now, the tips in this video are not just for those that are doing online teaching. They can be applied to almost any small business that you might have. But I do know that my subscriber base are all online teachers, so I am going to talk a little bit about how I apply this as an online teacher in my own business and how some different ways that you can apply it as well. If you're not already subscribed, I want to make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. I want to make sure that you don't miss out on future videos that can help you get started as an online teacher or enhance your existing business. In addition, if you're not already in our Facebook group, I want to make sure that you have joined our cohort of these amazing online teachers. We currently have over 21,000 members in our group, and I would love if you would like to join as well. I will drop the link in the description box for you to go after this video. I've had my own online teaching business since 2018, and in 2019, I created a legitimate business structure around my online teaching business. I created an LLC, or a limited liability company, for my business. I knew that this wasn't just a gig that I was doing. I knew that there was a lot of income potential there, and I really wanted to maximize my efforts and make a legitimate business structure around it as I expanded my business. I wanted it to be legitimate. So I went out, I got a legitimate company, and I registered it within the state of New York. And if you know me, you know that I don't go into anything blind. I started diving deep into everything LLC and business related, and I started learning that there are a ton of benefits that you could take as an LLC. You could take advantage of a lot of benefits as an LLC. And one of the benefits that just so happens to be my favorite is the ability to put your underage children on payroll. Yes, you can legally make your children employees, and there are some huge benefits to this. Before I get into this though, I do have to add this little disclaimer. I am not a tax professional, and I highly encourage you, actually I insist, that you talk to your trusted tax advisor about any of the information that you get from this video or any of the videos on my channel. None of what I say in this video should be used as a basis for your financial decisions without talking to somebody who knows your individual financial and tax situation, because we know that they can all be different. This is not considered tax or legal advice. I'm just going to give you some general knowledge that you can use as a starting point to get this conversation rolling with your tax person. Okay, got it? All right, so you can actually pay your children tax-free income for both of you, and you can pay each of your children up to $12,950 a year. And this is going to apply to each child that you employ. So if you have more than one kid on the books, your tax benefit is going to increase. This ends up being a tax write-off for payroll for you. And as long as your child's earned income is under $12,950 a year, your child does not have to file taxes, and they do not have to pay any taxes on the income that they have accrued. This means that you can have your child work for you and receive up to $12,950 a year, which is completely tax-free for both you and your child. Huge tax benefit. How do you know if your child can work for you? So first of all, the IRS generally considers that kids should be like 7 years old to be doing this. So this is going to apply for most cases, kids age 7 to 18. But they have to be doing work in your business that is necessary for your business to function. It has to be work that is legitimate to the business itself. And they have to actually be doing work. You can't just be like, okay, here's your allowance and write it off in your taxes. They have to be doing actual work. This work has to be age appropriate and you have to pay them a reasonable wage. So you can't have them work for like, $100 an hour wiping off your desk. That's not going to cut it. It has to be reasonable work, reasonable wages. So for example, you can't have your 7-year-old doing accounting and you can't have your 14-year-old doing babysitting. It's not reasonable to suggest that your 7-year-old is capable of tracking your business financial records. And babysitting is not considered a business related activity. So you can't count babysitting. You can't pay your 14-year-old to watch your younger kids so that you can get work done. It doesn't work like that. The work that you have them do has to be legitimate and it has to be related to the business. So this means you can't put them on the books for doing the dishes or cleaning up their toys or doing household chores, but you could pay them to clean your office space, for example. In the event of an audit, you need to be able to show that the work that you're having your kids do is legitimate. So you're going to want to make sure that you record everything. What did they do? What hours did they work? How much are you paying them? Everything needs to be recorded. I cannot stress enough how important record keeping is if you plan on doing this. This is a huge benefit for business owners, but you need to make sure your records are in order so that if you ever get audited and they come back to you, you could be like, yes, this is legitimate. Here is all the paperwork showing this. It's also important to know how to set up your business structure in order to be able to have your child work for you. In order to do this, you're going to want to set up an LLC, which is the same kind of business structure that I have. This needs to be a sole proprietorship or a partnership, and anybody that's involved in the business ownership has to be a parent. So if you have a sole proprietorship, you can only hire your own children. You can't hire like your fiance's kids. If you're going to have a partnership, it can't be with my best friend, it would have to be with the father of my children. If you do have a different type of LLC, such as an S Corp or a C Corp, there's other ways that you can do this. There are different rules around these because you do have to pay payroll taxes with these structures, even if they are your child. And if that's the case, some people set up a second LLC and they use this as a family management LLC. So their main LLC, say their S Corp, pays the family management LLC, which is a sole proprietorship. And then the sole proprietorship LLC will then pay the child. This is a little bit more difficult. There's a little bit more that's involved in this because now you have two businesses running together, but I will put a link in the description box in case that's something that you were looking at and you wanted to learn how to do that. Taking a little bit deeper of a look into this, let's look at an example. Say you have 3 children that are 7, 12, and 17, and you pay each of your children the maximum amount of $12,950 for a total payroll of $38,850. If your total business income was $100,000 for the year, this is going to take that as a deduction. So now this brings your income down to $61,150. You went from $100,000 to $61,000. That's a huge difference. And doing this can actually put your business in a different tax bracket as well. So you're going to end up paying less taxes. Now, say your child starts working at the age of 7 and continues until they reach the age 18. Assuming that the amount that they're paid stays the same and they do this every year until they're 18, at the end of their childhood, when they reach 18, they will have just saved $142,450. Now, they have 6 figures there to start their adult life with so that, they can start adulting. There's way more to it, and this is actually a low figure because most likely that number of $12,950 a year is going to increase. because the cost of living increases, so therefore everything else increases. So they'll probably have a maximum amount of more than $12,950 a year that they can earn. And if that happens, you can give your children raises. In addition, if you're really, really smart, you aren't just going to be sticking their money into, say, a custodial bank account that has either no interest or low interest. You're going to be sending it over to a Roth IRA, which is going to help them save even more. What kinds of work can you have your kids do? Well, I want you to think about it, because for every business, it's going to be a little bit different. If I have a cleaning business, it's going to be different than if I have a car dealership, or if I have an online teaching business like I do, or if I have a graphic design business. So really think about it. What is your child actually capable of helping you do to run your business? That's what they can do. There are so many different opportunities for work. They can work as child models. They can do your bookkeeping, cleaning your office, invoicing customers. They can create graphic art or graphic designs for social media and promotional campaigns. They can be your social media manager. They can help run your Facebook group. They can edit videos. They can respond to messages and emails and comments. Now, specific to online teaching, because I know so many of you are online teachers that are coming in here, you can have them as an actor in your intro videos, or a child model for your promotional materials. You can have them do like little TikToks or reels where they're role playing as a student. You can have them invoice your students, create lessons, manage your schedule, clean up your mess of finger puppets, stuffed animals, prop cards, create curriculum. Let me know in the comments, what ideas do you have? Like, what do you think you could have your child do to help you out? Show your creativity, help each other out, and let's think of some different ways that we can get our kids working. There are a few more things that you need to know before you just jump into all of this. I want you to remember, this is not a let's see how we can scam Uncle Sam kind of a thing. This is a legitimate tax strategy that business owners use to maximize their business potential and help create generational wealth within their own family. This means that you have to treat it as a legitimate tax strategy for your business, and you have to treat your children as employees. So first of all, you're going to want to create an employment contract between your LLC and your child. If you are running a family management LLC, which this probably will not apply to most of you, but if you do have an S Corp or a C Corp, you're going to need to create a business contract between the family management plan and your actual business. This isn't going to apply to you if you only have one LLC and you're doing it as a sole proprietorship. This is only going to apply to those who are using an S Corp or a C Corp LLC. You also want to make sure that you have a W-4 in your own records for each child each year that they're on the books. So at the beginning of the year, or beginning when you start this, you need to make sure that each kid that you have is going to sign their own W-4. This doesn't need to be filed, but you need to have it in your records. You are also going to have to pay your child in money. You can't pay them in ice cream and tacos, no matter if that's their preferred payment method. You can't do it. You have to have a paper trail of financial assets being transferred from your business to their bank account, because this is a legitimate business, and legitimate businesses do not pay their employees in tacos and ice cream. So you can't do that for your kids as well. You want this paper trail to be able to show how much you paid them, where that money went to, where it came from and went to, how frequently you paid them, and what their activities were. I would recommend keeping a spreadsheet documenting all of this, and there are other tools I use for it as well. I won't get into that right now because this is just about the setup, but I would really recommend having a paper trail. And you're going to want to set up a custodial account, a custodial bank account for each of your child in their own name. Then for the paper trail, you're either going to do an electronic bank-to-bank transfer from your business banking account to their account, or you're going to write a check out to them, which they can deposit in their account. But you need to have that paper trail showing that you paid payroll. Here's another thing, that money doesn't have to stay in their bank account. Just like if I go and I work at, say, McDonald's, I'm working at McDonald's as an employee, they don't care what happens to my money after it's in that bank account. The same thing goes here. They don't care what happens to that. So just because the money is transferred into that account doesn't mean it has to stay in that account. Remember that these custodial accounts generally have a 0% or a low percent interest rate, and they're not going to make the most out of the money that they're making. They're not going to have a really huge advantage aside from the income that they're earning. So I would recommend to take advantage of Roth IRAs for your kids. They have Roth IRAs that are intended for children. They can contribute up to $6,500 a year to a Roth IRA in the year 2023, or their total income, whichever amount is lower. So as long as they've made $6,500 a year, they can contribute $6,500 a year to a Roth IRA. But I would really recommend taking advantage of anything that's going to help build them up for success in their own future. These are your kids. You can use your business to build generational wealth and help your kids start off in a position that maybe you didn't get the opportunity to do. If my kids could have it their way, they would probably spend $12,950 a year on ice cream, chocolate, and toys. So you want to make sure that you're transferring this money to a place where it's actually going to help them in their future and not just give them cavities. So I know this probably sounds like a lot. You are going to have to do a little bit of back end work to make this work. It's not that much, to be honest, but there are some steps that you need to take to make this a legitimate opportunity for yourself, your business, and your family. So you're going to need to set up an LLC, create a business banking account, get your child their own bank account as well. Your child will need to sign an employment contract and a W-4. The employment contract should be signed every time their wage increases or changes or their job duties change, and the W-4 needs to be done every year. You're going to need to keep track of the hours of work that they do and create a payroll system, whether that's checks or electronic transfers, in order to pay your child. And above all, make sure that you're keeping records in all of this. I cannot stress the importance of record keeping. When you have your own business, it is so important that you keep records, because if you ever get audited by the IRS, you want to make sure that you have everything to prove that you're doing this legitimately. By hiring your child to work for you, there are so many benefits. They're learning work ethic, they're earning an income, and they're creating a savings, and they're getting job experience. Imagine if you were able to graduate from high school at 18 years old and you go to apply for your very first job and it's like, what is your experience? Oh, I have 11 years of work experience. You are no longer an entry-level employee for most things. Your child can go right out of high school and already have work experience on their resume from a legitimate company. And that's pretty awesome. Or maybe they want to start their own company and they've been working alongside you and learning the tricks of the trade. They've been learning how to do invoicing, how to build a website, how to grow their email list, how to use marketing strategies to gain more clients, more customers, how to edit videos, how to use social media, how to invoice clients and actually get paid. How many of you have asked these questions or seen these questions asked? But just imagine going out into the world at 18 years old and already having all of this knowledge behind you. This is a pretty amazing opportunity that you are in this position that you can give your kids this opportunity. They're going to be going out into the world with whatever knowledge you have taught them. They've already applied it. They've learned it. They've applied it while they were on your books. And that's going to set them up for some really successful careers in their own future. And the other cool thing is you get to spend quality time with them. And we all know that that means, they get older and we look back and we realize all the time we've spent working and we kind of miss, our kids while we were working. Some of that time that was spent working, you can actually spend with your kids. And, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do too. If this video helped you at all, please consider giving it a big thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to me, and I look at everything like the likes that a video has gotten, the comments that a video has gotten, and it helps teach me what content I need to create to help you. If you're interested in learning more about becoming an online teacher, remember there's a group that is in the description box of this video, and you can also check out these videos over here.